What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another exciting episode of the Extraordinary Man Podcast. Welcome to the Extraordinary Man Podcast, and I am your host, Phil Jones, or Mike Jones. Have you know me personally and professionally? And I am the host of the Extraordinary Man Podcast, and you guys know the most excellentest, most authenticest, most greatest, most bestest co-host on the face of the planet. He should go without say by now, but until we go super duper viral, I'm gonna keep saying it, and I'm gonna say it 5 times after that. State your name.
Man, what's going on, man? I really appreciate, the intro, man. That is like extraordinary. It is Midas reporting live from the audio spot, trying to get my truck fixed. But I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
All right, so needless to say, guys, please bear with us. I understand that the video may not be the absolute best quality, as he stated he's at the auto repair spot, but because he's such an extraordinary man, there's nothing that was going to stop him from making sure that he made this live broadcast. So you guys got to give the round of applause for that. Follow along as best as humanly possible and make sure that you are focused more on the information than the aesthetics, because it is real, it is authentic, and it is the greatest show on earth. So without further ado, let's get right into our subject matter today. What are we talking about?
It's
Let's
a
talk
spicy
about
one, man.
love and respect.
The difference?
First and foremost, let's talk about it. Let's get into this. What is love?
I
Midas?
was just about to say, let's start with the definition. What is love? What is the Webster and Oxford's definition of love?
Let's
Let's get
see
into it.
what they say.
Okay, you ready?
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
All right. That's how we gonna start this off.
You said what?
I said we're gonna start off with the definition. We're gonna start there.
So tell me, can you see the
That's,
screen?
yep,
Is this SPAC marvelous?
it's extraordinary.
All right. So, according to the dictionary, it says love is an intense feeling of deep affection, a great interest and pleasure in something. Feel deep affection for someone, like or enjoy very much. I'm going to take it a step further because I don't think that this is the best definition. The best definition that I've ever heard of what love is, and I don't think that regardless of your religious affiliation, I don't think anybody will disagree with this part of what love is. This is out of the Bible. 1 Corinthians 13:4-8 says love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with truth. Think that's a bad definition, Midas?
I don't think it's a bad definition. I think it's kind of vague. I mean, it sounds wonderful, but it's wonderful and vague at the same time to me.
I think it's very
Verse.
specific.
Okay,
I
what
think when you
what
think about it, like when you actually break down the root, when it says that it's kind, it's not boastful. Boastful has a specific meaning to it. Kindness has a specific meaning to it. Every connotation of what it says that it is and what it is not. So of boastful is like there's no need to brag on what I have, and there's no need to envy what somebody else have in contrary to what I have. I think it's
but all it
actually
told me
extremely specific.
but all it told me was it was just patient and kind. And then after patient and kind, all it told me was what it is.
Mm, it actually said love's patient and kind. Love does not envy or
And
boast. It's not arrogant or
it
rude.
went straight into it is not after that.
Okay. It just told you specifically love is patient and kind.
Okay, what is patient and kind?
Okay, so let's go. Let us go. Patience definition. Let's pull her up on the screen and see what she hitting for. We'll share that. We're gonna minimize this. Can you
Extraordinary. That
see?
looks
Are you
good.
the level of Spec
That
Marvelous?
looks good. That looks good, dog. That looks
All
real
right. It
good.
says able to accept or tolerate delays, problems, or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious.
Okay. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's go a
Yes.
step further.
Yes, I
It
agree.
said kind, right?
That's a great definition. Yes. That's a great word. Okay. We got to break this down, y'all. We got to break it
Oh
down.
no, no. Listen, we're gonna put sauce all the way on the ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Says what is the definition for kind person? The quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate.
Yeah, another great one. Okay. So now that we've broken it down, now we can now we can go into tearing into the ribs. I bet. So
So
yes, that was a perfect
So
uh
with this, as it starts to as the and again, it's like I try to tell people that a lot of times when people look at the Bible and they want to automatically discredit it because I don't follow that, I don't believe in that, I don't think, and it's like it's not about that. It's about using the information and applying the information for what makes sense. You can get rid of all the rest of the stuff if you choose to, but if you look at it, does it make sense? Can you apply it out here? Same way you can apply it over there. So when you look at your wife, you say, I love my wife, but you get irritated with her every time that she does something. That by definition is not love. Because that's the contrary. So if it's patient, it's saying, okay, she may not get this thing that I'm trying to get across to, and it may take her some time to develop it. But do I have enough patience to allow her the room to blossom and to grow into that thing?
well, the key word there is tolerance. So I think that just it is very unrealistic. It is very unhuman, inhuman to to say that you never get annoyed and irritated about anything that your significant other is doing. Like that is just unrealistic to me. You can definitely love the mess out of your significant other. You'll want to stand up and take a bullet for your but that don't mean that there's nothing that they do that just drastically annoys you. Like, come on.
Okay, so
You see the trash is full. Why would you try to put one more plate on top? Like you're saying stuff like
when we broke down the sub definition of the definition, and we
hmm
got to that point of tolerance.
hmm
Tolerance doesn't mean that I won't get irritated. It means that I check myself when I do get irritated.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
but the way that the definition read was the fact that I'm never supposed to
and
get
this is
irritated at
what I like,
all.
and this is what I like about these kind of conversations is because of the fact that, like I've said on multiple occasions, the way that language is the fact that
hmm
when somebody says something, that they hear it the way that they understand words to be.
Correct.
And you
Yes.
have to break things down to the least common denominator for people to be at the same page. So when I hear the word kindness or tolerance, I may have a preconceived position on what I think kindness and tolerance is versus what you may think kindness and tolerance is. So when we get down to the root and we can agree on a root definition of what these things are and work ourselves back up, then there's a general understanding to say, okay, cool. It is unrealistic to assume that you will never be upset with your significant other when they either don't get something or when they may seem like they don't want to get something or when there's a
Mhm.
time sensitive situation that requires them to jump on board and they may not get the severity of that situation. Anything that fits within the parameters. So it's
Right.
good to be able to say, okay, well, all things considered, sometimes I have to step back out of myself. Now, on the other side of that coin, you have the most important word. And I say it's the most important word because this is the word that defines the men. And by us being a men's show, this matters. So the love that we're supposed to show for our women, for our female counterparts, is rooted in kindness. It is rooted in tolerance. It is rooted in our ability to allow them the room to grow into the things that they're supposed to be. Agreed?
Agree.
Okay, so now let's go to that respect definition. We'll say put some
Okay.
respect on my name. And this is a real important one because I really want men to pay attention to this because it may sound like I'm slamming them and I'm talking to myself with this as well. But it's really one of those things to where I think that if you really understood the root of the word respect, you will understand why we get so much pushback from our women. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go. Here we
I mean,
go.
I'm in class. Let's get it.
The word respect, a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements.
Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there before we proceed. Now, it's not released yet, but I actually did a short talking about deserve. And it really comes down to like what exactly have we done, especially when it's right here in the definition. Abilities and qualities or achievements. And I spoke greatly about achievements. You know what? You just wait for the short to come out, but let's go ahead and continue.
Look out
But I
for
did talk.
detox,
I
y'all.
touched on
We
that.
got a
Yeah,
quality short
I
coming out.
spoke on that.
We inspire in the inspiration. That's all. So now, what we talking about here when we looking at that definition of respect, okay? This is the thing that I need men to understand that if you just looking at the root definition in its root cause, when you are a man has to constantly be working on something, constantly elevating, constantly building. You cannot be complacent and get respect from a woman. You cannot. It is impossible to maintain the respect of a woman being stagnant, being in the same spot. You have to constantly be knocking things out of the park, constantly building, constantly doing something. Man, he always working on his house. He always out there underneath a car. He's a
Mhm.
man has to. You know how there's always that joke that goes around is like, oh God, it seems like women just get so annoyed when a man is relaxing
Right.
because it's not in her nature to appreciate your rest.
I got one.
It's in her nature to appreciate your work. They got an update on your car?
Yeah, the owner talking to me right now. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'm gonna just keep going. Go ahead and do your thing.
All right.
So a man has to understand that he has requirements. This goes for me, this goes for everybody else that is out here. And I really want people to take this into consideration. You have to do something. You have to constantly be doing something. You don't get to tell a woman that she just has to respect you because you're a man. Oh, I pay all the bills. Oh, I do this, I do that. Respect by definition is that there's a level of achievement, a constant level of elevation, purporting yourself and putting yourself in position to where you are constantly doing things to maintain yourself in the spectrum of being respectable. Respectable is almost respect is almost a verb. Achievement. You have to be achieving. You don't get to cap at an achievement. You keep going. You have
I
to
think
keep
that
going, and that's how
uh,
women will continue. Because if they don't admire you, so when we go to the definition, it says a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. What are your abilities? What are your qualities and what are your achievements? Men, what are your abilities? What are your qualities? What are your achievements? If everything that you have to say about what you have going on is based in past tense, a woman is thinking in the back of her mind, what have you done for me lately? It is in her nature. Has
a
nothing to
woman
do
is
with you.
always thinking tense.
You said what?
Men are the only ones that think past tense. Women are always thinking future tense. They're always thinking about the security of their future, the security of their children, safety, insert here. They're constantly thinking about that, and they want those needs met. So, but men are the ones that, oh man, back in 1996, back in 2001, we're the only ones that think like that. So, and you got a lot of men out here, which is they think that simply just because they a man, just because they born with certain equipment, they're automatically put in a position to think that they get respect
And that couldn't be the
just
first.
just because of that.
That couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. It could not be the furthest thing from the truth. If you look at what makes you respectable, if I look at what makes women respect me, it's because not just because of any level of wisdom that I have. My wisdom is not antiquated. I'm constantly reading, I'm constantly researching, I'm constantly learning something new. I'm constantly able to deliver something up to date, an up to date solution for what works for today, not for what I used to do 10 years ago, trying to give you advice on how that works today. No, I can constantly bring you something of value that is modern, that is up to date, with an up to date solution, with up to date results. Where are you with school? I have a graduation date. Where are you with your job prospects? Where are you with your career objectives? Where are you with what you're building outside of your job? This stream of income, that stream of income, different ideas and different things that you want to get off, different motivations, different things that you are actively doing. Not what you're talking about, not blowing a whole bunch of smoke trying to convince people that you're bigger than what you are, but actual documented things that you can put forth and say, here is my list of accomplishments. Either you
And I
won the Heisman Trophy or you didn't.
Right, and I think the biggest aspect to that too is focus. And for those of you that don't know, focus means follow one course until success. All right, a lot of men, are just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what stick. You know, you have to have some type of goal in mind. It has to be a solid goal, and it has to be a goal that you can convey to your significant other that understand that they can see themselves within that goal, playing a role in that goal. You also need to make sure that you need to set milestones within that goal, because those smaller accomplishments that equal up to the big accomplishment, that's going to keep her entertained and keep her on task as well. You know what I'm saying? Okay, today we going to try to get 1,000 views on the video. Hey, babe, I need you to go ahead, that up on Facebook, make it do what it do over there, then download it, put it over there, da 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 da. Let's try to hit 1,000 views on this video today. Like set a bunch of micro goals that lead to one big goal. And I think that's a great way of respect, because she can see that you working towards a particular goal, and you're moving and putting things in place. You're moving the chess pieces around to checkmate.
By the way, just thought I'd throw this out there just in case you were wondering. Your video, Don't Believe the Hype, almost hit 1,000 views. You hit 939. Start you might want to know, in case you didn't.
Don't believe the hype. Don't. No, I'm not going to say the whole copyright strike.
Well, what I'm saying is, with anything that we look at, man, one of the most important aspects of what we got going on is this: is that when it comes down to the understanding of love and respect, it's like I don't need a woman's love as bad as I need her respect. I can care less about your love. I don't need you to be kind to me. I don't need you to do anything but understand that there's a role that you play in my life, and I need you to be ready and willing to do what's necessary to fulfill that aspect of what I need in my life. You sit
Period.
there and you look at it and you say that a woman for a man could vary by the man. The needs that that man has can vary based on his circumstances. So, what Bill Gates needs is not the same thing as what I need, period.
Mhm.
It's just one of those things to understand that when you're putting yourself in certain situations, or when you are dealing with a certain type of man, that there are certain types of requirements that come along with dealing with that man, that he is who he is inherently based on his circumstances. So also taking into consideration that what that man may need from you can change. It can change today, it can change tomorrow, it can change at any point in time. Because if that man is elevating, he's growing, and he's putting himself in a position to be respectable, and
Yes.
hence, if he's putting himself in a position to be a respectable man, that means that he's on a constant level of elevation. Ladies, pay attention. If you have a man that is constantly on a state of elevation, what you have to understand more so than anything else is that you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to do what is necessary to assist him with getting where he's trying to go. Because wherever he's going is going to directly benefit you
Correct.
in more ways than
And
one.
and that's a real big one, dude, because it's like the amount of time, effort, and energy that it goes into amassing, respect and wealth and everything else that comes on with it. You know, you are the direct benefactor outside of the children, but you are a direct benefactor in this situation as to take the household is handled, what I'm saying, bill, grass cut, trash handled, everything is handled, what I'm saying, and you're now put into a position to where you can pretty much luxurious, and what I mean by is you can choose to go to work or not. You can choose what to do with your time, because of the amount of time and effort that man put in. So if he needs you to start moving in a particular different direction, yeah, I need you to handle these emails. I need you to handle phone calls. I need you to send out these letters. I need you to set up these meetings. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. You don't know how to do it. I'm gonna show you, what I'm saying, how to do this, how to do that, how to write the email, how to answer the phone, how to do, at least I'm gonna show you how. But you also got YouTube University and all that too, where you can pick up skill sets too and learn how to do what I need you to do.
The most important aspect is agreement. Is that, are you on the same page with me? When I love you in aspect to where I'm going to take care of you, not just in a financial sense, but your emotional well-being. When you're
Correct.
hurting, when there's a situation going on, I'm going to give you, like, any, when the women are talking about, oh, I need a man to respect me, I truly believe she's operating out of her masculine energy.
Correct.
And the only reason why I say this is because, again, I'm not going to throw the Bible at people, but it's a belief that I have that I share with people because it makes sense, not because of the fact that, oh well, it's a Christian ideology, and everybody should be following Christ. Like, no, but it makes sense. No matter what world you apply to, it makes perfect sense. So I'm gonna give you guys this piece. I want y'all to hear it, and I hope that y'all take it for what it is and not tune and block your ears out. So this comes from Ephesians chapter 5, verse 5. Chapter 5, 33. Let me pull it up on the screen. All right. Now, hopefully, people get the message and don't block it out, because I don't believe in the Bible. Just hear me what I'm saying. So, this is a translated version of it. It says, however, each one of you must love his wife as he loves himself. In the in the New Testament, this is a translation of it. It's saying that he must love you as he loves the body of Christ. The body of Christ is the temple, which the temple is himself. If a man is not taking care of himself, he speaks down on himself, he's not confident, he's not successful, he's not driven to be successful, there's no way that that man can truly love you, and he doesn't love himself. What you see that man doing to himself, he's ultimately going to give you less. I'm going to say that again. And if anybody is confused about that, by all means, please comment on that. However, each of you must love his wife as he loves himself. If a man is not taking care of himself, what he puts in his body, how he's taking care of himself, his earnings, his ability to take care of himself. Is he making a bunch of excuses, making a bunch of plans? Is he following through? Is he just always blaming some external circumstance for the reason why he's unsuccessful? What is he doing? Whatever he's doing, there's always going to be a reflection of that on how he treats you. If he's not showing himself love, he cannot possibly love you. He doesn't have the skills. And in that, it says a wife must respect her husband. As we stated in the definition of respect, the definition of respect is to admire. Well, guess what? Those two definitions tie hand in hand. Because if a man ain't doing anything worthy of him being respected, the wife can't respect him. Therefore, if he's not loving himself, he can't possibly love you. Make sense?
Admiration. That's a big one.
So, like I said, if you take the fact of the source out and you actually look at the information and you look at the actual definitions of the words that I said, it makes perfect sense that that little small piece of scripture from Ephesians 5:33 makes perfect sense that when you break down what love means and you break down what respect means, that a man, and this is what it means about a man being the leader, he has to be able to lead himself, his emotions, his finances, his household. Those are the bare minimum before he should even be entertaining dating, let alone incorporating a wife. If he has not mastered those three aspects, he is going to lead a woman to ruin because he's unstable. So if he's not loving himself to do right by himself, to do the things properly for himself, how can he possibly love you? And you can't respect him because he's not showing himself love. So what you want? I know it's broken record, but
Yeah.
it's like literally,
It's broken record. Yeah, I was just about to say that it's broken record.
yeah,
You
it's the
know,
infinity sign. It's like you can't have one without the other.
yeah. I mean, I think another thing where a man loses respect is the fact that he goes into the situation and there's no expectations. You know, if you're not laying out guidelines, and I ain't saying that you be all drill sergeant or nothing like that, but if you said one of the three main things that a man's supposed to have: structure, keyword, expectations out the gate, and sometimes we lose sense of that or track of that, or sometimes we learn it too late, and now it's time for you to set expectations, but you in so deep that it's hard for your significant other to try to start shifting gear and trying to start moving towards or moving in this direction of these expectations that you now trying to set. So that's a big one right there, where the level of respect is the expectation need to be set in the door. Hey, look, this is what I do, this is what I got going on, this is what I'm looking for.
And
Are
despite
you
the fact,
are you down?
and despite the nuances of how people like to play the whole concept of why younger women and older men, it's like, yeah, you do have some creepy dudes out here, but that's not the reason why older men and younger women attract. Younger women and older men attract because older men generally have these things already figured out.
Correct.
They'll usually have these things taken care of, so there's no guesswork on what he can offer to that young woman when she's at the peak of her prime, when she's at the peak of her attractiveness, and he's at the peak of his finances and the peak of his emotional well-being, at the peak of his economic stride. There is no ambiguity as far as what he can offer her and what she can offer him. So that's why this is. So it's like, I know people on the internet like to try to skew everything and make it seem like it's something that is not. The reality is a younger woman will gravitate to an older guy because the older guy has his stuff in order. She doesn't have to guess. She doesn't have to build him. She can, it's almost like You walk into a house and you start decorating and putting pictures up and everything. The house is already established. You don't have to walk in, go get a job, help him save, and then y'all go buy a house together. Instead, you get to walk into an already established house where the economic part of the household is already taken care of, and you get to come in and decorate it and put the furniture in it and do it the way that you would want it. You get to customize it. That's what that
She
younger
turns it
woman's
into a
role
home.
plays in a man's life.
She turns it into a home. I give you a house, you turn it into a home. I give you a sperm, you turn it into a baby. I bring you food, you turn it into dinner. That's basic. That's basic.
That is the way that things in a traditional situation are. So all the creepiness and all the old man, they predators or older guys, they're
No,
not.
no,
Some
it's
may
not.
be, there's no 100% in everything, but no, they are not predators. No, they are not deviants. No, they are not looking for somebody immature so they can manipulate. It's
Right.
that I
Right.
got my stuff together, and when I want children and I want a wife and I want to build with somebody, it's like you can't say out of one breath that women mature faster than men. And then when you see a younger woman with an older man, but they technically mature faster, that somehow now this is creepy behavior. Like, no, it doesn't make sense.
Listen, man, it's always been the thing for younger women to go after an older guy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these women that's talking about this creepy and all this and that, they definitely were the ones, you know, hey man, I'm I'm talking to this high schooler when they in eighth grade. Or, you know what I'm saying, vice versa. It's in their DNA to always have wanted to been with an older guy. And it's sad to see that now because they're out of the running and the older men that's in their bracket don't want them. So
Well, the
that's
thing
what,
is that a lot of these women are single now and they're competing with the young girls. So because there's so many of the 40 and up, the 35 and up that are still in the mating run with the 19, 20 to 25-year-old, you have to try to find leverage somewhere. So shaming tactics is one of the easiest ways to make men feel bad about themselves for doing what comes natural to them. The thing about it is the fact that when it comes down to who am I likely to get more respect from, I have to work harder to prove something to a woman who has been burned 1,000 times, because now I have to pay for the sins of all those other men on top of proving myself. I don't
you
want that headache for something that is more used than the younger product.
for sure. And it's like, uh I'm not a therapist. Am I a shoulder? Yes. But I'm not your always have fun. I'm not your therapist. I'm not any of that. I'm your protector and provider. Those are my main two jobs. I am to protect you. I'm to provide for you. We can go on vacation, but I'm not your travel agent. Okay, we're not doing 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 trips a year. That's not what it is. Like you don't get to set all these expectations and all these whatever you want to put on it obligations because the last 15 Pookie and Ray Rays that you refuse to stop dealing with, and now you finally grew up in your 40s and 50s, and now you want the respectable dude when the respectable dude was chasing you back in high school. Now you want that guy, but he has to deal with all these stipulations that you now have. How's that fair?
Well, look at it like this, because I got to play devil's advocate with that just a little bit. Because the guy that you were in high school is not reflective of the guy that you are today. The guy that you were when you were younger, you were not this person. You did not have all that you have to offer today. It's safe to say, if she
Hmm.
had given you the opportunity, you may not have had the incentive to become who you are today.
For sure. And the woman that she was back then ain't the woman she is today. She's
Absolutely.
burnt, she's
Like, you
scarred,
don't have the
she's
right to
stretched
have the
out.
same expectations that you had when you were at the peak of your attractiveness. But then this person also doesn't get the right to shame you because you're not at the peak of your attractiveness. At the end of the day, I don't even feel like you guys should be crossing paths at this point. Whatever it is that you're going in your life, if you like her, you still want her, then shut up and date her. Don't complain about it. But
Well, no,
if
it's not it's but you speaking from the guy side about shutting up and data. What I'm speaking on is that at 40, 50, when you ran through all of your hot girl summers and you did this and did that and you 3, 4 babies in, now you want what was the dude named Michael J? Now you want him. Now you want that, but he has to come in with all these stipulations that you have and all these obligations that need to be met. Is that fair? Is that right?
well, that's the only thing that does perplex me about that aspect of the dating pool when you get to dealing with people who are older is the fact that you're getting their experiences too, good, bad, or indifferent. So whatever the last person did, like first and foremost, I tell anybody that is dating an older woman that if you listen to them speak, and this isn't indicative of all women, but this is just a criteria that I would say that I will always make a suggestion of men. Think with this head and not the other one. Listen to what that woman is saying to you about her experiences because you need to be making a qualified decision on whether or not you can deal with what is coming with that, because don't assume that any of us in our 30s, 40s, or whatever are not coming with some level of baggage. All of us have some level of trauma. All of us have some level of something that we are dealing with that we are trying to overcome. The question is, when you listen to this person, does it sound like they did the work, or are they constantly making excuses after excuse after excuse? Is every relationship that they had was the man they were dating toxic? If all the men were toxic and you have zero accountability, you haven't learned anything, and you need to leave that woman where she is because you are going to be the next one on the Summer Jam screen.
I think the best thing to do in this particular situation, and this is only a specific situation, man, just don't walk into a just add water family, dog. Just find a woman that you can actually build a full family with. And just leave it at that.
Unless that's what you want.
Unless that's what you want.
Unless that's what you
If
want.
that's what you if that's what you want, this message ain't for you. But
Yeah, I
for
mean,
those that have the opportunity, go that route.
I tell guys, and I would give this discretion because I've dated women with kids, and I give this discretion out to men and even some women, right? Because we won't deny that there's guys out here that's holding it down for their families and stuff in the absence of the moms. So we won't we're gonna speak in general terms out here. When dealing with somebody with children, you have to understand that you're not just dating that person, you're dating that child too.
Mhm.
So if your intentions are not to be here long term, and you have to understand that you will have to deal with some crap. You have to already understand that you're walking into a situation where you're going to have to pay more for somebody else's situation. That's out the gate. If there's 2 kids, when you go to dinner, you're buying meals for 4. Every meal that you're buying meals for 4. There is no romantic dinner between the two of us. It's us.
Mhm.
You are trying to put yourself in a position to where you're trying to fit inside of something that's already pre-established. So you have to abide by certain rules of engagement. You have to find out where your parameters are. You have to make sure that you are in agreement with those parameters when it comes down to discipline, when it comes down to school and education, when it comes down
Yeah.
to, I guess, religion in certain respects. What are we going to teach these people? Like if you're Muslim and they're Christian, is there going to be religious tolerance in the house so they can learn all of it? There's certain things that you have to, and you don't have the luxury of taking your time because the kids are already here.
Well, you just added sauce to the ribs of what I said earlier. You just expanded on by me saying at the door
Well, yeah, but that's what I
expectation.
was doing. I was purposely trying to add on to what you were saying.
Hmm.
It's just that as far as putting things on the mind of people who are entertaining the concept of going into a ready-made family, you do have certain aspects that you have to mentally prepare yourself for.
That's what I was just yeah. You got to be mentally prepared for that. And again, in no way, shape, form, or fashion is this uh a slight against single mothers. It ain't like that at all. But like I said, if a gentleman wants to enter into a relationship like that, as long as he understands like the full capacity of that situation and is mentally prepared to handle that, by all means, brother, do your thing and be the best at it. But I'm an advocate of, what I'm saying, if you have an opportunity to build your own, go that route. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like I would never. I look at it like I don't see anything wrong with a man wanting his own family, wanting his own
Hmm.
children with
His
his
own.
wife
Yeah.
that he can build his
Yeah.
own situation with. I don't
Yeah.
see anything wrong with that. I actually think that that's one of the most respectable, commendable things that a man can do is to incorporate his own family and to actually build and be that for his children, make sure that his children have every statistical advantage that comes along with having a father at home. In relation to the subject matter of love and respect, I believe that the aspects of love and respect are very simple. And in the event that we are operating out of those very simple premises that love and respect are built upon, that if everybody understands their role and understands what part that they play, or if everybody is accepting of the part that they play in the household, I think that we do well. I think that we do very well by and large because of the fact that women and men alike will understand that if my job is to respect my husband, then these are my parameters. If I'm doing something outside of those parameters, then I'm automatically wrong. My job is to love my wife. So if in loving my wife, if I find myself going here, here, and here, I'm operating outside of those parameters, I'm wrong. So there's a built-in checks and balance system
Mm.
that will allow you to keep yourself in line to make sure that you do not overstep and purposely go out of your way to do certain things to that woman or that man.
I wish I had the bomb. I don't have a bomb. It sucks.
We'll get that. We get to it. We get to it.
But make sure y'all rewind that part because that was literally golden nugget that he just dropped, and that could save a lot of you with a relationship because a lot of guys, not all, got to put the disclaimer, but a lot of gentlemen, when you go into a relationship and the relationship is serious, you yourselves, we do it too. We still trying to act like or operate like we single. You know, if you committed, be committed, man. There was a situation, I think we spoke about it on another show where um an individual that I work with actually cut ties with somebody because this individual likes to step out on his wife. And you don't want to do business with somebody like that because he's willing to step out on somebody that he's laying in the bed with every single night. What is he gonna do to you? You know what I'm saying? And these things that we also got to take into account and really think about as well. So, in a nutshell, be faithful. That's all I can say.
There's so many nuances to that it's like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. The one thing that I will say more so than anything else is the fact that you have to be absolutely aware of what you're getting yourself into. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't believe in a such thing as incompatibility. I believe that we're all incompatible. I think that we're all incompatible, and that's what makes us beautiful people. It's because none of us are the same. Some of us might get along better in certain areas.
Hmm.
But the key to it is, do we work together? Can we work well together? Can we create? Can we build? Can we do what is necessary to do despite our differences? That's all that matters.
Well,
That's it.
and that's what it's supposed to be, Mike. Like we're supposed to take the things that are similar. Okay, let's talk about me. Okay, I like anime. You like anime. Okay, cool. You like Star Wars. I like Star Wars. Okay, cool. You like Doctor Who. I like Doctor Who. Okay, cool. So we got these similarities. All right. You know what I'm saying? I'm technical. You technical. Okay? But you technical in that sense. I'm technical in this sense. They don't collide at all. But somehow we make it work. You know, you're a real estate photographer, the number one real estate photographer in the state. I deal with installations of security cameras, Nothing the same, but we make it work. You know what I'm saying? So build off, take the similarities, capitalize on the similarities, and then build off of the indifferences.
I mean, realistically, it's like a lot of the times the things that were similar at are not even factors.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
times the things that
They
we
don't count.
my mother gave me some of the best advice ever. She said that you're gonna meet hundreds of people who got everything that you like. It's what you don't like about them that's gonna tell you whether or not y'all can work or not. At the
Bomb.
end of the day,
Bomb.
it's like I don't care if we like the same show. I don't care if you can watch your Netflix and I can sit over here on my computer scrolling up and down the Facebook thing all day. The question is, do you bring me peace when it's time for it? The question is, do you feel loved when it's time for it? Can you, without a shadow of a doubt, know that if you picked up the phone and you called me, that you can guarantee that I know he got me. I know he got my back. It don't even matter what the situation is. If I called him right now at work and I was stressed out, do I got his ear?
That is a big one, man, because we supposed to be, especially if we really know each other for real, we're supposed to know how to bring peace to one another, in what capacity, in what way. Everybody has a different way that they want their peace and like their peace.
Yeah, and I mean, and that to me is one of the most important things that you have at your disposal is that you're not looking at a situation based off of how you think it should be. You're looking at it based off of what matters to me, what matters to you, what matters to the people that matter to me. So when I look at kids, each child has an individual need. I can't coach my children and say, hey man, look, you're gonna get the same thing your sister got. Take it or leave it. No, that don't
Mm-mm.
work. You know that don't work. I know that don't work.
Mm-mm. Having 4 babies, and even though I almost got a preteen, but having 4 babies, it definitely don't work that way. Like I can't talk to my oldest the same way that I talk to my middle, and I can't talk to my middle the way that I talk to my youngest. It just don't work. You cannot. It's not a one solution fits all. It don't work that way.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not a
You,
one
I
size
got to
fits
put
all
this
situation.
hat on. It goes back to the Super Mario analogy. When I talk to my oldest, I got to put this Mario hat on. When I talk to the wife, I got to put this Mario hat on. When I talk to my youngest, I got to put this Mario hat on. It, and just translate that into real life. When I go to work, I got to put this hat on. When I got to jump in the mechanic, I got to put this hat on. There is no one solution fits all.
I mean, all it requires at the end of the day is if you look at the basis of love and respect, and I just keep on harping on that, just look at the basis of love and the basis of respect. If you can find yourself staying true to the margins of love and respect and understanding what your role is. And I think a lot of that boils down to where I would tell a woman if I had to give advice to any woman about how respect is given, my advice to that woman would be when you go, if you're a boss of a woman, when you see one of your clients that spend good money with you, the way that you roll out the red carpet for that client, it's the same way that you need to roll out the red carpet for your husband.
Hmm.
If you are somebody who you work and you go and your boss say, hey, I need this report done by Sunday, this report by Friday, 5 p.m., not a second later, and you're going to make sure that you get that report done on time, even early, your husband should get that same respect. The respect is about ensuring when you can act right on your period, when you can act right in certain circumstances with your pastor, with your daddy, with your mama, with anybody who has a level of importance with you. If you can act right for them, you can act right for your husband.
Period.
It's just that simple. It's that simple. Your
It's a lot
husband
of
is not
bombs
your
today,
whipping
Mike.
boy. Your husband is not the person. I should never feel like somebody else outside of my household gets more respect than me. There is nobody that gets more respect than me.
Yeah, especially with the ring on it. Especially if I put a ring on it.
I mean, just forget that. It's because of the
I
fact that
I moved to a higher tier, the upper echelon.
I say it to this point. You accepted my ring, which means that to disrespect me is a reflection of your own bad decision making. So disrespecting me is disrespecting yourself. As is me disrespecting you is disrespecting me. It's disrespecting my children. It's disrespecting everybody around me is disrespecting you. Going online, writing cryptic messages about my spouse or having conversations with other women about you and what you don't do and what I wish that you would do more of is disrespecting me because you are a reflection of my choices.
Hmm.
So when you disrespect your husband, you are disrespecting your own ability to make decisions. You make yourself look stupid. Everything negative that you have to say about your spouse, you make yourself look stupid. Oh, well, she don't do this and she don't do that. And man, I wish she would. You chose her.
Hmm.
You married her. So what?
Or
You put
you want to
boundaries in.
marry her.
You told her that she was everything. Go handle it. Don't tell me about it. Go deal with it. Because you ain't got to convince me. I ain't got to go home to you, neither one of y'all.
Right.
So that's
Right.
where it boils down to. So when it comes down to how you show respect, it's very simple. Think of whoever you hold to the highest standard and take your husband and place him one step above that. That's it. If you can go to work, say yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You can go home and say yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Yes, babe, or whatever your derivative is, but you can do the same thing. It's the same thing because it is a reflection of your decision making. You go to work and you act right because you put in the application and you signed up for that job. You go treat your clients well because you signed up to be the hairdresser. You signed up to be the boss babe. You signed up to be whoever it is that you wanted to be. You made that decision. You accepted everything that came along with that. Your husband should be no different because your husband, and again, going back to the Bible, you and your husband, y'all cleave together, y'all become one. So because y'all come together, y'all become one item. Every ill-conceived feeling that you have about your spouse is a reflection of how poor you are, how unprepared you are, how bad you suck. Your husband is terrible, you're terrible. Your husband is weak, you're weak. You attract weak men.
Hmm.
Your aura, your essence attracts weak men. Like, let's tell these people the truth. Let's just be perfectly blatantly honest with them. Like, oh, my husband, he's bad in bed. You don't coach well.
Yeah.
You're not telling him how to be successful with you. You're keeping it in your head and not being open and vocal with him about how to be better for you. You're making it a guessing game, and you're only hurting and sabotage your own relationship because you're probably overly sexualized before y'all got there.
Hmm.
So because Tyrone or whoever else was able to hit the spot, you have this preconceived notion that everybody should be as long as you try harder. How about you tell him what you like so he can do it and save you the time and the ambiguity. Save yourself the headache and the negativity. So anything that you have negative to say about your spouse is a reflection of how poor you are. Point blank
It
period.
shouldn't be an enigma. It shouldn't be an enigma. I mean,
Should be.
and the old school saying, we're not mind readers. You upset about something, say something. The bedroom ain't up to par, say something. Whatever, you know. Hey, your work around the house, is really lacking. These doors been squeaking and broke for weeks. I asked you 3 times about the dishwasher. You know, Speak up.
I think that I do believe that there's an aspect to where a lot of women think that a man's pride or his ego would be bruised for you to tell him that. I don't think many women know that we really appreciate the transparency, because for you to be able to come to us and tell us what you don't like, what you do like, how you feel, how you don't feel, what can be done better, we feel like you're all in.
Yeah.
You're telling us that you're all in. You're telling us that you're invested. So whereas you think that a man might not receive it because his ego might be bruised or something along those lines, that couldn't be further from the truth. We actually really appreciate the feedback. We really appreciate knowing that, excuse me, that you're invested. And it would be
And
nice. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, and not only letting us know about potential issues that we can address and get ahead of curveball, but also praises. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't gotta be every single day, like that. But you know what I'm saying, if your man did something fantastic, hit it out the park for real, you know what I'm saying? A little more than good job, babe, is due. Because that man went out there and did that for you.
I do agree with that. It's one of those situations to where we as men, we oftentimes feel very undervalued. Hold on a second.
Often. How about mostly?
A lot of us feel very undervalued. And I don't know if it's intentional. I just think that a lot of times it's just the fact that there's an expectation on us that the expectation is not clearly defined.
Well, I
That
don't I don't like the fact that um I think it becomes regular. W's become regular. Doing great and fantastic becomes regular. Like, it might be regular to you. It ain't regular to us. You know what I'm saying? Like the amount of effort and hard work and either setting up meetings or staying up late hours and doing whatever needs to be done to get that done. It was a lot of energy that went into that W. So does it look effortless? Do I make it look effortless? Maybe. Does it look flawless? Maybe. But there was an extraordinary amount of energy that went into that W. More than a good job, babe, is due.
I don't think that until the thing I think that one of the things that is so important that we get across is that we have to communicate better across the board. We have to let each other know, hey, I don't feel loved by you. Here's what I need more of from you. I don't feel respected by you. Here's what I need more of by you. And people need to be open to listening because of the fact that it's not based on your particular method of operation. I think a lot of times we want to give what we're comfortable with, or we want to give what we know, but we don't necessarily want to give what we're being asked for. Like, hey, I know that this is what you need, but this is what I have available to you. And it's like, no, I don't need that. I need this. I need you to give
Mhm.
this to me specifically because this is what I need. Well, I don't do that. Well, why is that an issue if you plan on spending the rest of your life with me? Because you knew when you met me. What does who you were when I met you have to do with who you need to become to keep this thing moving? Guess what? If we got into a plane crash and we were out in the wilderness, I never chopped wood before, but I need to get a fire lit so that I can take care of my family or so I can make sure to keep us alive through the night. Guess what? I'm going to be a lumberjack today.
Mhm. put that hat on. You put that Mario hat on.
So it's the
That's how it
basic
is.
understanding that you have to be adjustable in order to maintain and enhance the structure of what your situation is. Sometimes the role that you are accustomed to playing, the role that you prefer to play, is no longer needed. It's obsolete.
And
That
I'm a
skill set is no longer applicable here.
I'm finna because I got a bail, so I'm finna leave with just this one point. When a man is coming to you, and this is for the ladies, when a man is coming to you and he's telling you exactly what it is he need and what he want and what he trying to do and he need board and all this and that, or just expressing himself, it ain't always meant for you to have to respond. You know, rebuttals, anything else. You know, what I'm saying like sometimes the best thing for you to do is just hear that man out, be quiet. Just leave it at that because you need to recognize when you in class and it ain't meant for you to say something. It's not your time. When he's coming to you and he's trying to talk to you about him, that's not the time for you to start expressing what you got going on. That needs to be for a different time. He's coming to you talking about him. He wants to address what's going on with him so that y'all can be solid or fix whatever or saying give him back some motivation, whatever is needed. It's not your time. Just don't say nothing. That's it. That's all I got.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's some
boys and
real good
girls, people
relationship
of all
advice.
ages, thank you guys for tuning in to the Extraordinary Men podcast. As always, we are highly appreciative of the fact that you guys come to spend time with us every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday morning. I am the host, Phil Jones, and you guys know the co-host with the most, the greatest, the person who is the only other person who looks better in a hat than me. State your name again for the people, please.
What's going on, y'all? I am Midas. Make sure you put a king in front of that. Let's go.
With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the content that we put out today because it came from the heart. We really took time to try to put this together for you guys, picking out the definitions, going into Bible scripture, trying to find different things to be able to present to you guys to add on to the message that we've been putting forth. And if you guys can appreciate it, thank you. Can't appreciate it, leave it at the trash on Tuesday. And for everything else, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. I'll go ahead and put that link up there. Just take your tiny little cell phone that you have, scroll across the bottom of that screen right there, run that QR reader, scan as it goes. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys become a part of it. Click the little bell, little notification, like and dislike every single video that we post. Why? Because we're cool like that. No, seriously, we enjoy all the feedback that we get. Midas, you got any closing words?
That's it, man. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you for 4,000 views on the shorts. I'm slowly rolling those out and getting those going. Just stay tuned. We got a lot more content for y'all. We also got a new series that we've been talking about. So you'll slowly start to see that implemented real soon. We still working the kinks out, trying to figure out the direction and everything, but we got things in the works for y'all. So just stay tuned, man.
All right, now we're finna go ahead and head up out of this joint. And thank you to all the people on Instagram that actually been showing me a lot of love over there. Instagram, Phil Jones 1986. TikTok, Phil Jones 1986. Twitter, Phil Jones 1986. Very simple. What's that? Twitch, Phil Jones 1986. I think everything is Phil Jones 1986. I don't know who that guy is, but I follow him too. You guys should follow him as well. All right, guys.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.